thank you for being there, for being with me on this morning on ITV Tuesday edition. And that's really what we'll be looking at this point on the aspect of the gale of defection in Nigeria and the call for the Senate to reconvene, issues at stake. If you've been following events, there's been this great emergency meeting that the Senate President Dr. Bukola Saraki has called for the leadership of the National Assembly to have issues to discuss, which are really begging for attention, like the presidency has been on in the aspect of saying that for them to not to ensure that the government experiences shutdown, there is need for the National Assembly to reconvene. And among issues that they will be discussing will be the strings of the defection in the political space, and of course the issues about the supplementary budget of the forthcoming election 2019, among other very, very salient issues. Discussing this vital topic with me, I have an array of custodians of the law looking at what it is to bet a legal process in which all of this will be well taken care of. And from my extreme left, I have a notary public of Nigeria, Olayiwola Afolabi. Many thanks for coming, sir.
Thanks so much.
Right. And next, I also have another notary public of Nigeria, Agbomandoloyi Osayewambo. Many thanks for coming.
Thank you very much.
And of course, I also have a one-time PRO and legal advisor to the NBA bidding branch, Ebosele Okifo. Thank you for coming.
Good morning, Philip. Thanks for having me.
Let me start with you, Olayiwola Afolabi. The whole issues about defection and all that, there's this impression. Is it ripe? Is it healthy for the democracy as practiced in Nigeria, or is it harmful?
Well, first and foremost, I want to start that the defection is legal. It also has biblical implication. Let me take you to, before I come to the issue of law, let me take you to the Bible. Even the Bible says, it says, come ye out from among them and be separate. When you find that you are in a place and you are not getting the right thing, you cannot take it to the Eldorado. You will live in this place, come out. And also the Constitution allows them. That's Section 63 G of the Constitution.
So it's legal to
it's legal to live. When you find out it allows, when there's a fractionalization in the party, a legislator has the right to leave the party. So at that time I was shocked when former governor Shimole say, oh, Saki should resign. Why should resign? Because Shimole is not there. He's a governor, he's a labor leader. Yeah, he's there.
Okay, but all of these issues that have been happening, is it not harmful to our democracy?
It's not harmful. Many of them, they're not in PDP. Some of them are in PDP before. When they're in PDP, they let AC. There's no problem. But now, because they now let APC and come back to PDP, that's why some people are crying. They have the right. Anybody can go to any party. Today now, if the governor of the state feel that, oh, my political cannot be I cannot be better off in APC, he has the right to leave APC and go to PDP. Don't be surprised. Anything can happen.
Okay.
So that to me, the Constitution allows them. Let me give you some before I get to the floor to my brothers. Look at all the APC states, except Edo and Edo. In all the states, they have parallel Congress. In Oyo, the minister is having problem with the governor. In Kaduna, so the law has that once there's a division in your party, you have the right to leave and you will become, and nothing will happen to you. But you can only lose your membership. Maybe if a senator becomes a minister or loses his citizenship of Nigeria. That's all.
Okay, but the other one is if they are defecting for the interest of the populace or for personal interest.
How do you know? So leave them. When the time comes, it's a tsunami. It's a country that they have the right to go to anywhere or form a new party. After our APC, there was APC before. Some of them are in the Labour Party, even the Buhari CPC, but all merged and combined to APC. So it's going to be a tsunami. Nobody knows. Leave the public to decide whether why you are defecting is right or not. It's the public that will decide. So nobody should talk. Let's wait. It's a tsunami.
Okay.
Thank you.
There's this issue, what Olaiwola Falabi just said, that is legal to defect. What's your thoughts along this?
I think firstly, I would want to define what defection is. Defection is a political movement from one group to another for the purpose of realizing your political ambition. In every politician, there is the political desire to be fulfilled in his own community or state. And if he's able to carry along the people in his constituency, his purpose is realized by joining the political group. But if you feel that your desire is not realizable in the group you belong, then you begin to look for a better platform for the purpose of realizing your desires. And when this happens, now we call it defection. Before, it used to be cross-carpeting. It happens not only in Nigeria, but all over the world. But the problem with Nigeria is the fact that so many people have no political ideology that makes it become a hue and cry situation.
So the political parties in Nigeria are really not having that?
Yes.
It's lacking.
And the people who are also playing the politics for now do not have that political ideology of either being a socialist and following one direction, or a capitalist following one direction, or the desire to realize. So all the desires they have now is, if I am able to get to a position, I struggle to try to rearrange my own village or local government. That is the struggle so many have. And the beauty of democracy all over the world is the legislative arm. If the legislative arm, like they are seeking to destroy now, is destroyed, then the democracy in Nigeria is destroyed. So the executive, particularly the governors, the presidency, and the president himself, should caution themselves and allow the legislative arm perform their legislative function, and then look into the activities that have to do with the populace and their constituency. You cannot be a president and pick so many people from your own state, and I will be happy as a senator from Edo State, and nobody is picked from my state. So I have to struggle to ensure that that is the essence of the legislative arm. Okay. The legislators, they go there to represent their sessional belief, their sessional ideology, and their sessional feelings. If somebody from Edo is not permitted to wear bead, and I come into the Senate, I should first of all tell them that a bead is part of the dressing of an Edo man. And if I'm able to actualize that one, my constituency will be happy. So that is the essence of the legislative arm. It creates the level playing field. Then we come to the issue of the legal implication of the...
But before we get there, you made mention of political ideology. Yes. So many of the politicians not having it.
Yes.
And even political parties still
do not have it.
Is that not something vital that should have been present in political parties and internalized by politicians?
Yes.
How do we actualize that?
It is most important that every political gathering must have an ideology, and the people coming in to work with them must have that single direction. If a man who is a socialist runs to join somebody, a capitalist, they are in the same group, but different kinds of water in the same. That is why the Bible said you cannot have sweet and bitter water together in one stream. The stream must either produce sweet water or bitter water. So the group must either be the group that has capitalist ideology, responsible for directing and making money come into the government, or the group that will say all the monies coming into government must be used for the people and the people should not bring money into government. But if all these ones come together and be in one cup or in one group, the cup will never settle down. That is why they said if two opposing groups, beneath we say however, now will be tumbling. So if two people of different views and understanding are in one group struggling together, the group will never settle. So until they find out their level, everybody going into their own platform, there must be turbulence continually.
Thank you.
That is the situation we are at the moment in Nigeria.
Thank you. Ebusele, Osai spoke about the aspect that missing ideology, political ideology. I'm concerned about that. When did we miss it, and how can we find it?
Well, you know, as at the time, the APC, when CPC, ACN, and part of ABGA, you know, they merged as APC.
Yes.
Nigerians actually debated that issue, that these are people of various ideologies. They are not coming together to form a political party, to call themselves APC. How will their survival look in time to come? And that is what we are seeing now. Because first of all, they all have various ideologies. You understand? So it's now affecting them, because we now see that at the end of the day, for the past 3 years, what you believe in is not being actualized in the party.
When you say they have various ideologies,
yes,
you seem to differ from what Osai just said.
No, what I'm saying
but
is
he's saying that they do not have political ideologies. What ideology do they have?
It's the same thing we are talking about. Okay. Now, ACN, as a party, ought to have, they have their own ideology, as at the time ACN was existing as ACN. Then, as at the time CPC was there, they had their own ideology. ABGAB have their own ideology. You understand? But in order to remove PDP from the center, they merged.
They merged.
Not minding their various ideologies.
So ideologies were knocked off?
Yes. So
just to make sure that they actualize their purpose?
They came in like that. So the issue can be likened to a situation whereby you have the baboon, the monkey, and the dog coming together to say, we want to represent a body. We have forgotten the fact that no matter the relationship between the baboon, the monkey, and even the dog, they will still remain their respective self. You understand? So that is why they found it difficult to blend together. Now, for the issue of whether those defecting, whether they are defecting for public interest, just like my learned senior has said, that one is left for the people to decide, and not members of the APC, not somebody like the chairman of APC or the president, or even Tinubu to decide whether they have declared based on public interest or that. At the time, in 2019, the public will not determine whether they declare in their own interest or not. But look at the defection of somebody like Tambawana of Sokoto State. You see that the speech he made, that first of all, my state, Sokoto State, has been marginalized in the scheme of things. That the APC, the federal government, APC, has not started any meaningful project in Sokoto State. And the Senator of Sokoto also came out in support of the defection of the governor. That if he has found out that he could not actualize his political ambition in APC, he has a right to leave. You understand me? So people are complaining. I don't know why they are complaining. Because first of all, we had this kind of scenario in 2013, 2014, preceding before the elections of 2015.
Yes.
And if we remember correctly, as at that time, the people that are busy grumbling now
were happy.
So we're able dancing Skelewu. You understand? If I may put it that way, like our former corporate governor, he was very, very happy then. Even what is happening now about you want the National Assembly to reconvene by means, as at that time, they were praising Tambawa, they praised Saraki for leaving, they praised people like Amechi for leaving. in spite of their baggages of alleged corruptions here and there. They praised them and they came into the APC. And that was what aided them in being able to defeat PDP in the national election. Now, the chickens have come home to roost. And you are complaining. One would have expected that, in fairness sake, what they should be thinking about is how to up their game to see how they will be able to convince the public again to give them that mandate in 2019. And not trying to attack those that have defected. Not trying to use the Commonwealth of Nigerians to ensure that other persons do not defect by giving them money, Commonwealth, the money they are supposed to use for development that would have benefited the people. That is what you now want to use. You are now using to entice them. Even people that have been known that they have series of corruption cases against them, you now invite them to say, come into my party and your sins are forgiven. Well,
that aspect of enticing them, inducing them financially, the chairman of the All Progressive Congress said nothing of such, because they're already in majority, so there is a need for that.
Majority where?
Huh?
Majority,
how do they get their majority?
Is it majority in the National Assembly or majority on the street? Like the Congress that was conducted in Osun State, the party members were complaining because they went into the street, like it happened in the Bible those days when the marriage was organized. Those that were invited for the marriage did not come. Then the master directed they should go to the street, invite several people to come and be party. That was what they did in Osun State, and the people complained. I said, no, this is not what should be.
Okay, I'll come back to you. Olayiwola Afolabi, this whole aspect of trying to, the rumors we keep hearing about the fact that there are plans to impeach the Senate President, and the whole process of ensuring that they open up the National Assembly. What are your thoughts along this line? You see,
first of all, let me say something. I want to align myself with the submission of my Daniel brothers. Okay. You know, one thing is this: when people like Tambuwa led the party, certain statement he made is very critical. You know, that should be a thought-provoking for APC. The mass complain so many things. Look at most of the no meaningful infrastructure that was cited in some states. Everything is going to one section. Also those states. So to me, I don't know. I'm still waiting for member of our National Assembly. Because let me tell you one thing. Look at, since this administration has come in, we have many better people being killed. I was surprised when I saw my former governor saying S-men are not responsible. Is that so?
Yes. Is
it true? No, let's
but that's not the purpose of this discussion.
I will digress. But is that true? That's a very pure lie.
Yes, let's come back to the topic. Let's come back to the topic, because this whole aspect of the rumors on the plot against the Senate President Bukola Saraki, do you see this as needful?
No, you cannot impeach Saraki. You know, the man. Look at this time from the case in court. He went to Supreme Court and they could clear him. You know, it's not the party chairman that will determine how the state will sit.
But for him to defect from the party to another party, isn't it necessary that he resigns?
As I said, let me use my native language. In Yoruba, we say, Akpigari. We say, Akpigari. We divide by our rights. As I said, you have the right to leave a party. When you form a party, you are saying you are look at Akpabio. Akpabio be investigated now by EFCC. In fact, the one out of school in Calabar, they shut it down. Now because that he couldn't come to APC. Now they will leave him.
Okay, is that your opinion?
Of course, I'm on ground. We are on ground. So I'm telling you, we are on ground. We know what is going on in the country. I'm a grandman. I'm a grassroots person. We know what is going on.
Okay, but
I'm coming. Does it come that you see? It is the senators that have the right to impeach Saraki, and they need to thought that about one senator, we know about 73. So it's very difficult. Then that's why we see, that's why my president, this morning, yesterday, Vanguard, there's a rumor, it's in Vanguard, that NNPC is giving 50 million to senators.
Like you said, it's a rumor.
No, it's in Vanguard.
Yes,
it's a rumor.
Yes, it's being reported.
I'm being reported.
And the allegations.
And the allegations. No, it's in Vanguard. I read it.
Okay, but let's look at the aspect of one defecting from one party to another.
But we have said that.
Yes.
It's legal. It's legal.
You still retain that position.
Okay, let me contribute.
I'll come back to you.
Okay.
That what? It is legal to defect. It's there.
And still retain your position.
Of course, as I say, you can only lose your position in it if you become a minister. Automatically, you can't hold dual purpose at the same time, dual position. Either you be a minister or you be a senator. Or two, if you lose your Nigerian citizenship.
Okay, but reports have it in just today's report,
yes,
where the party, PDP, is even in search for a replacement of Godswill Akpabio.
Yes.
So does that not also support that by the time you defect, then you should lose that?
No, what I'm saying, see, what Akpabio has left now, then the senators themselves, they have the right. Of course, you're not more a PDP leader. Of course, now, as the PDP leader in the Senate. And now,
he was the minority.
Now, he has minority leader in the Senate. Yes. Then the senators have the right to put that person there. It's the senator.
Okay, thank you.
Let me define a few issues. The president of Senate is not the president of APC Senate.
Yes.
He's the president of all the senators. Yes. He may be the least person whose group brought just one person, but his ability to relate with other members of the group will make him, or will give the opportunity to other members to choose him. So his choice as a Senate president is not that his party proposed him. When Saraki was made the president of Senate, his party was not in the majority. The other members, he was able to lobby them to ensure that he was made the president, the Senate president. So the Senate president, the deputy Senate president, the Speaker of the National Assembly, and the deputy Speaker, they are not party choices. They are chosen by their own members in the National Assembly to represent them. But the minority leader or the majority leader, these are selections from their parties to represent the party interest at the executive arm of the National Assembly.
Okay, but it's left for the National Assembly, like the senators, for instance, to decide to vote him out.
Yes.
And don't you see that maybe happening anymore from now?
To vote him out, all the senators, or majority of the senators, 3/4 or 2/3 of it, must agree to voting him out. That is the constitutional provision. You cannot, by reason of, the APC is no longer in the majority in the National Assembly. Even if they were in majority. But
that is still in contention, yes, because at present they are still expecting that they reconvene.
Yes.
It's only when they reconvene and then there's a head count.
Yes.
That's when we can really know.
There will be a change.
Yes. But before such could come up, like removing the Senate president,
yes,
they need to form a quorum.
Yes.
What number forms a quorum?
The quorum is formed by 2/3.
Can 30
to remove
be a quorum?
No. 30 can never be. 30 of 109 cannot be. So 2/3 of 109 form the quorum. If they are, like you said, they are reconvening to hold executive meeting. The executive meeting is between the
leadership,
yes, of the National Assembly.
Yes.
So it is not for them to decide to remove or not to remove. For anybody to sit down to remove the Saraki or to remove Dogara, it must be the arrangement of all the political parties involved. Just one party, PDP has a reasonable number, APC has its number, ABGA has its own number. All these parties, if you are like Philip this morning, you were able to bring us together by reaching us. You may not be a lawyer amongst us now, but you were able to bring these lawyers together by reason of your influence. Whoever has the influence at the National Assembly and is able to get others to pull along with him becomes the National Assembly leader by becoming the Senate president. So it is not at home you decide it. It is not the decision of the president of Nigeria or the chairman of the party to decide who the leadership of the Senate will be. The party will only decide the leadership. That's if you are in minority, like Akpabio now is the leader of the PDP at the National Assembly. If he leaves PDP for another party, he joins that party, the PDP chooses another person to replace him.
So that's okay, that's normal.
That is all right, that is normal,
okay.
Because it's representing the party interest.
Okay, let's look at this aspect of reconvening. Now, there are national issues begging for attention of the National Assembly. Don't you see the need for them to reconvene immediately?
Well, we know that there's a selfish desire for them to stress on the need for them to reconvene. Because first of all, they
when you say we know, what do you mean?
What I mean, I don't know. What I mean that you just said it, that there's a ploy.
No. When you say selfish, I'm not aware of that.
Selfish is that because those are the helm of affairs of APC,
yes,
and the federal government, Buhari, Oshomole, and co, if I may put it that way, they have been planning. They are planning to ensure that they remove Saraki and Dogara as principal members of the National Assembly by all means. Because they
but it's not their bid to do that. We just established that it's not their bid to do that. It's the bid of the federal lawmakers.
Just listen to me.
So what fuels your reason to say this?
You know that. Just listen to me.
He knows.
I'm trying to lay a foundation here. Now, we are aware that
he says so in paper.
People, they are saying that they have made arrangement to give each senator 50 million naira. It's not even a rumor. It's coming from even members of the National Assembly.
With the party chairman never refuted.
Of course, do you expect him to say it's true? He will not say that they spend money like a Ekiti election where they spent money. Is the party chairman coming to tell you and admit that they gave out money to bribe electors to vote for them?
But if we are to correct, are we not supposed to correct a situation whereby,
that actually occurred?
Yes, we keep talking.
Now, I'm trying to tell you that the reconvening of the National Assembly, why they are stressing for the National Assembly to reconvene, it's not only because of they want the budget, supplementary budget to be passed, because they need money for 2019 election. They want to also, it's like you want to use a stone to kill two birds.
Okay, you see that as a plot.
Because they know that by the time they reconvene, somebody like Senator Omo Agege, he has been shouting all over the place that Saraki must leave that place. And they have even tried to break into the National Assembly, to open the National Assembly so that they will reconvene and they will impeach Saraki. So all these things are the backbone. You understand? Why they so much desire the National Assembly to reconvene? Because they feel that with the money they have, they'll be able to bribe and lobby senators. Then those, especially senators that were ex-governors, that have cases pending at EFCC, they will not assure them, guarantee them that nobody will ask you anything about your case. You just do what we need.
Okay, I think all of these are allegations. But let's look at these issues squarely. I'll come back to you after that. Yes, let's look at these issues squarely.
Yes.
These are federal lawmakers.
Yes.
And a lot of trust, confidence has been given to them.
Yes.
And the people have confidence in them.
Yes.
Now, is it not a very strange impression to believe that these federal lawmakers can be bribed?
I don't know in Nigeria. No. Can you say, they are not from Mars. We are from US. We know what is happening. Like somebody just cited the issue of Akpabio. We are aware. Akpabio has series of corruption cases against him. Can you deny the fact that he was in London to go and see Buhari? Buhari went for medical leave 10 days, and he was in London.
He went down.
He immediately came back from London. He went to see Tinubu. He has been hobnobbing with Oshomole and all of them. You understand? So there's already plans. Even the APC in his state, Akwa Ibom, they are saying that we don't need this man because he's corrupt. But the federal government, they don't care. They want him Bahamis to see if the National Assembly can be reconvened so that they will achieve their purpose. Their major aim is to remove Saraki. So they're just bringing the issue that we want him so that they will come and pass a supplementary budget. As I'm talking to you,
but is that not also salient? Is that not also salient enough? Is that not also salient enough? Looking at the closeness of the election,
when the executive members of the Senate, if they want to meet, of course, it's not the ordinary members, senators, House of Reps that will meet. It's the principal leaders, principal members of the National Assembly that will meet. But as I'm talking to you now, they are even preventing some of them from gaining a chance to the National Assembly. Some of these principal members of the National Assembly. They are preventing them from entering the National Assembly because they want the National Assembly to reconvene Bahamis so that they will achieve their purpose. You understand? That is not saying the fact that it is good for them to reconvene and come and look at the budget. But I'm trying to tell you that if they go forth to make sure that the National Assembly is reconvened and they illegally remove Saraki, then it means we'll have problems in this country. Because just like we have said, the issue of the removal of Saraki is within the discretion of members of the senators.
Okay, let me pause you there. I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you. Yes, let me pause you there. Back to you, Afolabi. Now, there is this interest that people see as personal that has been projected in the National Assembly. When they defect from one party to another, there's this impression that is for personal gains. Now, how can the people benefit from all of this?
You see, let me tell you something. One thing, I just want to say something. You know, my brother, Kombe Oshomole, you know, you should learn from Obaseki, our governor. When there's a change in leadership of the House of Assembly, Obaseki said, well, fine, you have the right to change. I will interfere, and you didn't interfere. That's what you mean they had. He said, no, I will interfere. So Oshomole should learn from Obaseki and apply that in National Assembly. You should interfere. You should allow them. That's why I give kudos to Obaseki. Maybe me watching me now. Down back, you know, people are watching. Maybe if we are talking, maybe you are not from Nigeria, you are from the United States because of your glasses. What is happening now? You are watching. And it's going to be a tsunami. People in those states, you will see. Many people don't know that will come. They will come. But there is tsunami.
No, but that's the purpose of this program, to ensure that there is no tsunami.
No, that no.
To ensure that there is no chaos.
No, not chaos. Okay. No, tsunami in the sense that people tsunami. People told me no, they will go. There will be re-electment. It's coming.
Will people benefit from it? Because all of this is how can we benefit?
It has happened in Dona. It will go everywhere. It's the hand of God. I'm coming back. Let me tell you, people are watching. Look at when Jonathan was in power. Have you ever seen Jonathan preventing people from entering the National Assembly? Now, what we are seeing now is the use of force to achieve illegality. People we are watching. That's why you are dancing. But we know what's going on. Now, what up? We are waiting for 2019. If you like, let them bring police to all the nation. Policemen cannot go to everywhere. And look at what the Sultan said. The Sultan said something. I had it in my laptop. I kept it. Very critical. Look at, let me tell you. So, things are happening. So, we are watching. So, don't say, oh, it's for political or for the personal needs. We are the one that will decide whether what they are doing is right. But we are watching. We are grassroots. So, as I said, Oshomole should learn from Obaseki. Allow the National Assembly to open work. I was shocked. I read in the paper. He threatened the Saraki. He said Saraki should resign. Why? Look at that's why Obaseki. When they will change in the Assembly, it didn't interfere.
Okay, but are you not in support of the presidency when it said that the National Assembly should quickly reconvene in order not to shut down the government?
They will reconvene. Which government? Wait, I'm sorry. Let me give an example.
I'll come back to you.
Many of the legislators are not happy. What is going on? Are you happy with what is going on in the country? So don't talk much. So
that's not what the leadership is trying to address.
Which leadership?
Because we look at this, Osama, let's look at this squarely. Now, a situation where the supplementary budget has not been passed, has not been attended to, and a situation where the foreign loan that needs to be stipulated in terms of the amount to be taken and all other national issues. Is the National Assembly not supposed to have treated all of this before the break? Why going on break without treating such salient issues?
Yes. Quite frankly, before the presidency, we sit down to put together the issue of loan, the issue of supplementary budget, the executive body of the National Assembly must be consulted if they work, if the presidency has good working relationship with the National Assembly. But when the presidency has its own selfish desire to actualize, the National Assembly will not be used as a rubber stamp.
But that's just a speculation.
Yes,
that's just a speculation because the salient points are there.
Yes.
One, looking at the issue of the supplementary budget.
Let me explain.
Do you see that as not imperative?
The supplementary budget, from the way it was analyzed, the presidency said the money made for constituency projects be converted for the electionary purpose. Will you be happy as a senator? A project is cited in your own constituency or senatorial area. The money made for the project should be diverted for election purpose.
For the purpose of the country.
No, for the election purpose.
Not for personal campaigns.
This is not personal campaign.
But for the purpose of ensuring that the electoral system and process goes smoothly. Is that not a national issue?
The electoral commission. No, listen. The electoral commission is a body of its own who must have budgets sent to the National Assembly through the presidency, and that budget must be considered alongside. If the Electoral Commission has its own budget and sent there and have been considered, the supplementary budget coming from the presidency is an afterthought and must not be allowed to stand. And for the president or the presidency to say that the money made for the project in my own constituency, maybe I'm a House of Reps member or a senatorial district, the money made for the project in my own village, which I have struggled to put in, or there's no link between one village and another, and a bridge have been brought in. And you are saying this bridge should be cancelled, so that at the end of the day, I also will not have something to tell my people. This was what I was able to influence to my people. But that is the crux of the matter.
Okay, then how do we get it resolved? Because all of these issues are begging for attention.
Yes,
and that is why they are having an emergency meeting today.
The result would have been.
I'll come back to you, Afolabi. Just give them a minute to finish. Yes.
The result would have been achieved if the presidency had consulted with the executive arm of the National Assembly, and all of them would sit down and have a direction. Not you sitting where you are and directing me where I am to give out my own without first consultations. Why not give out your own first?
Yes. Okay, you talked about loan just now, that they need to actually reconvene so that you talk about the loan they want to take. Now the question is, first of all, do we need that loan?
I think we've passed that stage.
No, we have not.
It has been approved. It's just to stipulate the amount. We've passed that stage. Now, why do we need that loan? When we have been recovering money from Abacha loot.
And now?
What is happening to the money that Abacha looted? They were brought back to this country. What have they done with it? Even though the president told us that Abacha is a man of integrity. Abacha is not corrupt. But meanwhile, he's busy recovering money from that Abacha looted. What have they done with the money? Why can't they use that money to do whatever they want to do? Why must we always go borrowing and start putting generation on board into debt?
Well, I'll come back to you, but just in case you're still watching, as this morning on ITV Tuesday edition, and I've been having a chat with Ebosele Okifo, one-time PRO and legal advisor to NBA Benin, and also Notary Republic of Nigeria, Osanyewambo Agbomandoloyi, and of course Olayiwola Afolabi, who is also in Notary Republic of Nigeria. And all of these issues has been on the call for the Senate to reconvene issues at stake. Don't forget that you can follow us on our Twitter handle at ITV Radio NG. You can like our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/ITV Radio NG, and also on our website at www.itvradio.ng. www.itvradioNigeria.com. Just place your comments, and your comments will go a long way to shaping the questions we'll be asking the panelists on this discussion. But back to you, Ebusele Okifo. All of this seems to be in a very dicey situation where we are finding it difficult to nip in the bud. Now, for the purpose of peace, we look at the aspect where the National Assembly must reconvene. And the emergency meeting they are holding today is to discuss all of this. Now, shouldn't it, for the purpose of peace, for national interest, reconvene immediately and trash out all of these issues about strings of defection?
Yes. Well, for peace sake, to achieve peace is very, very easy. Let the executive allow the National Assembly be, not trying to interfere with the legislator. You understand? Let them be. Why must you now, you come in, you are trying to influence what is happening in the National Assembly. You want to influence a leadership change on the National Assembly. No man whose position is threatened, you will expect him to cooperate with you. His position is being threatened, and you want him to cooperate with you.
Okay, but there is this whole.
In the interest of Nigeria, okay, but the presidency should allow the National Assembly be. Then bring in your supplementary budget, allow them to deliberate on it, allow them to approve it for you. Not when you are reconvening the other sinister motive to ensure that the principal members are removed.
But there's this whole issue of African politics always entertaining when people Africans are in power. They tend to hold on to that power and not live it. Don't you think that's what's in the case of the leadership of the Senate?
If you say they are holding onto power, who will not determine whether they lose their hold onto that power? As the Senate President, who is constitutionally empowered to remove him? Are they not the members of, are they not the senators, his fellow senators? And the Constitution says, for you to remove him, you have two-thirds majority. What is two-thirds majority of 109? About 73 senators. Why don't you allow those 73 senators, let them come together and remove him, if he has to be removed, so that his hold of power will not be removed.
Is that not the reason why?
Why must you not come in? You want to now influence them by giving them money. You want them to reconvene, then you will not give them money, then you will not threaten those that have corruption cases, allegations that you have been sleeping on because they were with you. Now that there's the threat of their leaving your party and go to the other party, you want to not guarantee them that no matter what you have committed, look at someone like Akpabio. According to the allegations, which have not been proven, he has stolen so much from the Commonwealth of Akwa Ibom, the indigenous of Akwa Ibom. You don't care. If you care about the interests of Akwa Ibom people, why would you not be struggling to have Akpabio as a member of your party, to serve your own personal interests, to ensure that Saraki is removed? Then you are forgetting the interest of the average Akwa Ibom that needs that money that was stolen, that needs that money that was stolen and used for other things for his own personal interests. You are so much more interested in that. It's unfortunate. Because right now, it's unfortunate. Because if the problem is that it's still as if the ruling party, the APC, inadvertently, they brought in an undertaker into their party. Now you have the coming governor there. We are all witnesses to when our own son too, or DJ Oyegu, was the national chairman of the APC. I'm sure if he was still there, we would have not been having all these issues.
Crisis,
because he has a way of balancing the equation. Less than 2 months that a new man has come on the field. He so much believe in power is might.
Okay, thank you. You've articulated your point. You've articulated your point. Well, just to let you know that whatever opinions are expressed here are the opinions of the panelists and not that of independent television. Well, Olayiwola Afolabi, let's look at this because
yes, no, I've not.
Wait. I know you have.
There's a wisdom. He says something. You know.
No. I'm coming. You will react.
There's a program in my place, Ekiti, that what an elderly man see up, a very young boy will not see it. Will you see it? What should we enter? you see what happened now? But even as an elderly man, he know how to balance the question. But now, just 2 months, you see voila. He said, what an elderly man see. Oh,
why sitting?
The young man,
Okay, let's look at the way forward. Let's look at the way forward for the purpose of peace. There have been these negative prophecies about disintegration and all that, which we don't want to buy. 2019 election has to be peaceful.
Yes,
and all of this is not really helping the country. So what do you see as the way forward?
Let me tell you, God is in charge of this country.
Okay.
The country will never disintegrate, God forbid. No, but there'll be tsunami, political tsunami. And the way it's going now, I've been telling them, it can go anywhere. Those that are enjoying now, some of them, in fact, I've told the DCP in prison, please enlarge your prison. Because many people are stealing money, they will go back there. You wait. They will go back. But if there's a justice is what we need. Imagine now you want to put a refinery in Katsina.
At the boundary of Nigeria.
In Katsina.
Nigeria.
Is that any refinery in Edo State?
I put cologne in Edo State.
There's a country.
But is that not part of development? Can't we have refineries everywhere?
I don't know this man.
Is there anything wrong to have a refinery in the north?
Please, don't stop me.
But the refinery must be sited where the oil is or where the raw material is sold, and it's easy access to the raw material.
This man is not.
But when you want to transfer the crude.
Okay, let Olaiwola.
No, are you from Nigeria? You're from where? No, what you talk about? Edo State, is there any refinery in Edo State? Why in Katsina? These are issues. Tambua said, look at people are not happy. So make me to be happy. If I will follow you. That's what we mean. Just make everybody benefit from the commonwealth of this country. There's no problem.
There's been this issue of raising up modular refineries.
Yes.
And if all of this come up and states have it, is there anything wrong there? So even if we have it in the north,
I'm not
in the south, you have it in the southeast, aren't we supposed to go more for it to have a spread on across the states of the Republic of Nigeria?
Economists, yes, calling school. That what you call closeness to raw materials. Maybe you didn't do economics, you read history or government, you didn't do. So look at, thank God for Obaseki. If the federal government has supported him and they have our opinion about the authority in Gele, what can you bring to Gele? It also benefit everybody. So when all the injustice in a place, people are people as of now, no justice.
Okay, but let's look here.
That's why people are not happy. They do themselves, they're not happy.
Okay, let's stay with the topic. Let's stay with the topic.
Stop it. When our sole son, when he called for the impeachment, what happened? Because I want to say it's true. They picked him up at the airport. We all know. Are you aware? You're actually showing.
How do we end the gale of defections? How do we ensure that the National Assembly keep focused and the presidency?
As I've said, let there be justice in the distribution of our commonwealth. Yes. Not the one section keeping it will not be happy. It's truth. So look at Jonathan. When he was there, the chief of staff is from Ondo State, the vice president from the north. He ensured that everything flowed. We were happy. Yes. But now, let me tell you one thing. Let me tell you before I go. Look at what happened. This man, that man used to dance. There's an allegation his certificate was forged. Quickly, they arrested him. Look at Obna. There's an issue. That certificate is forged, but nothing happened. So there's no justice in Nigeria. And that's why people are coming for change.
Look at the Minister of Finance.
Yes.
They have been accusing her of forged certificate of discharge. But she's still being retained as the Minister of Finance and no investigation carried out. In this nation, Nigeria, until we realize that there is need to be fairness to everybody, and if you are fighting corruption, corruption does not need to be money or country money in a way. If there is no fairness in the distribution of resources, it's corruption. If there's no, like you are forcing people to be investigated by EFCC, that is corruption. And if somebody comes to you and say, oh, I'm submitting to you, please, you tell the FCC, stop all the, that is corruption in the highest order. And if the distribution of the human resources is also not fairly done, like the Igbos, they will not, they told the leadership the last time, I said, Ekweremadu is the only eye we have. Because the National Assembly graciously put him there. There is no other representative. The ministers we have are stooges, and they have no functions. They either go as messengers or whatever. And they have no the ability to, like Jonathan while he was there, the Minister of Finance, Koja Iweala, will tell the nation, this is what is going on, this is what we want to do. Jonathan will approve. But this one, there is nobody apart from, or when the vice president functioned and said modular refineries be established, you followed them, or your station followed them to when he visited the South, and he said modular refineries be established. Immediately he left the position. The idea of the modular refineries ceased, and today we are only hearing it in principles and on the pages of papers. No one modular refinery has been established. But the contract for the refinery at the boundary between Nigeria and Niger Republic.
All right, thank you.
It's already been signed.
Thank you. We're still on the aspect of the National Assembly reconvening, and in order to address all of these national issues. But as a way of digression, we took other lanes. But let's come back.
Yes. Okay. To come back now.
Okay. Yes. So I'm taking your conclusion in just 30 seconds.
Yes. To come back, there should be fairness. There should be orderliness. Everybody should be respected. You should respect the National Assembly members and give them the opportunity to air their views.
Thank you. It's always a natural process. We have democracy in already as our system of government, and it's expected that at least they should reconvene immediately. And whatever happens, if one needs to be impeached, it depends on the senators, it depends on the lawmakers to do that. So the way forward in that respect in order to bring about peace.
Well, I said in order for us to have peace,
yes,
let the executive allow the National Assembly be. Don't interfere. You are not supposed to interfere in their internal problems. You understand? You allow them to sort themselves out, not giving support to any one of them. Like somebody like Omo Agege broke into the Senate hall, took the maze, people came in and all that. Today it's not standing before any court.
But is there anything wrong? Is there anything wrong in lobbying? Because lobbying is a process that is being used by politicians.
If you are lobbying,
is there anything wrong there?
Now do that illegally. Everything is wrong with it, because first of all, one, you are not using our Commonwealth. We are saying you are saying that.
But you don't have those facts. Those are allegations. You don't have those facts.
You are saying that.
You don't have any facts to. You don't have any evidence on that. You know, when people are in court, you always clamor looking at evidence. So you don't have evidence on that.
It's on US. It's not for Nigeria. It's not Nigeria.
Yes. From senators themselves.
50 million.
They are there. They are saying it.
Read papers this day.
50 million, 100 million. Somebody like Shehu Sani.
But they still on allegations. They still on allegations. Because if you are to take that to court, won't you call those allegations?
At the end of the day, they say there's no smoke without fire. No matter how the smoke is, you must have a little fire under it. You understand? People cannot just be saying, when somebody, a national chairman of a party, beats his chest to say that you must resign, and you are not supposed to be there, you must give us back our mandate, you know, and all that. How do you get that? You are going to influence a lot of people that ordinarily wouldn't have done your biddings.
Thank you.
You understand?
Thank you.
For peace to come back, let the National Assembly, let them do their constitutional work. As the executive, you do your own. Let the National Assembly do their own. If the National Assembly, if the members of the National Assembly, the senators or the House of Reps, feels that Dogara is no more presiding as the way it's supposed to be, or Saraki is too high-handed and is no more.
Let them decide.
Yes. Let them decide
on the next action to take.
Don't influence them.
Thank you, Ebusele Okifo. Thank you, Abomandoloyi. Thank you.
My own conclusion is that Oshume should learn from Obaseki how he allowed Edo State Assembly to be. Don't interfere. And Oyegun, God bless you. When you are there, you have no problem. So Oyegun, anywhere you are here now, God is going to bless you.
Thank you. Abomandoloyi.
Yes. From my own side, I will want to say that the National Assembly be given this opportunity to run its affairs the way the Constitution has provided for it. The beauty of democracy is the legislative arm. The moment the legislative arm is interfered with and there is a disruption, the whole democracy collapses.
Thank you.
Dictatorship takes over.
Thank you, Ebusele. Thank you, Abomandoloyi and Olayiwola Afolabi. Well, the whole that they'll be talking about is on ensuring that there is no interference. I think we have the three organs of government, the judiciary, the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. And it's expected that they live independently. Well, all of this pertains to what we call the beauty of democracy. And we just hope that we see how events unfold, and the emergency meeting that is called by the Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, for the leadership of the National Assembly to have a meeting in order to look at issues pertaining to begging for attention of the National Assembly. Well, we just hope that the presidency and the National Assembly will find a common ground to resolve all of these issues so that it will bring betterment to the people. The whole aspect is to ensure that there is a better Nigeria, a better society for us all. Well, this is what we call it a wrap on the discussion segment. It's still TMI.